The bucket of soapy water sloshed violently as her trembling hands gripped it, and in that moment she wondered how her life had come to this, scrubbing floors she didn't even belong on, cleaning up after people who would never even glance her way, wearing shoes that had holes at the soles. But there she was, walking into a glass building that seemed taller than her dreams, where the lights shone so bright that the reflections looked like stars trapped inside walls. She was there because she had said yes when her best friend begged her to cover a cleaning shift. She was there because she had no choice. Life had left her bruised, broken, and desperate. What she didn't know was that this night, this one shift, would change her life forever. It would test her dignity, her patience, her resilience. It would lead her straight into the heart of a man who carried a secret bigger than she could have imagined, a man she thought was just another worker, but who in truth was the millionaire CEO of the empire she was cleaning. Sparkles, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that show how love can bloom in the most unexpected places, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Royal Stories for more heart-touching tales. Your support keeps these stories alive. Sparkles. Her name was Amina. She was 24 years old, with tired eyes that once dreamed of studying architecture, but whose life had collapsed under the weight of poverty after her father's passing. She had taken small jobs to keep her younger brother in school, skipping meals so he could eat, stitching her shoes with thread when they split, and pushing herself to smile so he wouldn't feel her pain. When her best friend Zara, a night shift cleaner at a prestigious corporate tower, called her in desperation because her little daughter had fallen sick, Amina didn't hesitate. She borrowed a faded uniform that was a size too big and stepped into the building she had only ever admired from the outside. The tower was immaculate. Marble floors gleamed under the chandelier light, glass walls rose like silent guards, and every corner smelled faintly of luxury. She felt small there, almost invisible, yet her heart whispered that this was a glimpse into the life she once dreamed of, a life far away from the constant struggle of bills and survival. She carried her mop, gloves, and a heavy heart into one of the higher floors. It was late. The offices were mostly empty, except for a few glowing lights in cabins and the hum of computers left on. She worked quietly, scrubbing the smudges from the floor, dusting shelves lined with books she longed to touch, wiping glass that reflected her weary face back at her. She didn't notice when someone entered. He looked nothing like the typical millionaire she had seen in magazines. His suit jacket was off, his tie loosened, and his sleeves rolled up. His dark hair fell untidily over his forehead, and he carried a mug of coffee that had long since gone cold. His name was Zion, but she didn't know it yet. She only saw a man in his early 30s who looked exhausted, sitting on the edge of a desk as though the weight of the world had pressed him into silence. His expression was pained, not proud, his eyes heavy, not arrogant. To Amina, he looked like another worker stuck in the grind, another soul forgotten in the shadows of the rich who owned this place. She tried to stay invisible, but the squeak of her mop betrayed her. His head turned. Their eyes met. He didn't speak, and neither did she, but in that glance something strange flickered. He saw humility, honesty, and quiet strength in her. She saw weariness and loneliness in him. Two worlds met without knowing they were colliding. For the next hour, Amina moved silently, trying not to disturb him. She heard him typing furiously, then sighing, then burying his face in his hands. She felt a tug inside her chest. He looked like a man fighting invisible battles. At one point, she dared to softly say, "The coffee's cold, maybe you should get a fresh one." It slipped out of her mouth before she could stop herself. He lifted his head, surprised. Most people ignored cleaners, but she had spoken to him like a human. He smiled faintly, the kind of smile that breaks through storm clouds. "Maybe you're right," he said softly. That one moment was the beginning. Amina returned the next night, again covering Zara's shift. She didn't know why she agreed a second time, but something about that floor, that cabin, and that stranger pulled her back. And he was there again, working late into the night. Slowly, over days, their silences turned into nods, nods into short exchanges into conversations that lingered in the heart long after. He told her, without revealing his position, about the pressures of a difficult boss, about endless responsibilities, about how sometimes it felt like he was drowning in expectations. She listened, really listened, the way no one else seemed to. She spoke about her brother, about struggle, about how dreams sometimes had to be buried so that someone else could live theirs. He listened, without judgment, without pity, with a sincerity that made her feel seen for the first time in years. The bond grew. Two broken souls, from two different worlds, finding in each other a reflection of pain and hope. Yet, she never knew he was the CEO. He never told her, perhaps because for once he wanted to be loved without the weight of his wealth, without the shadow of his title. With her, he wasn't Mr. Zayn Malik, the ruthless, powerful millionaire. He was just a tired man finding peace in the presence of a woman with gentle hands and a brave heart. But secrets have a way of surfacing. One evening, Zara returned to her shift early and whispered urgently to Amina, "You don't know who you've been talking to. That's Zayn Malik, the CEO. The one who owns this building, this company, everything." Amina froze. Her blood ran cold. Suddenly every moment replayed in her head, every word she spoke, every smile they shared. She wasn't just speaking to a man. She had been opening her heart to someone who had the power to shatter her entire existence with a word. Fear consumed her. She thought of running, of never returning, of erasing the foolishness of dreaming that someone like him could see someone like her. The next night she avoided his floor. She kept her head down, worked in other sections, prayed he wouldn't notice. But he did. When he finally found her, he looked at her with a quiet intensity and simply said, "Why are you hiding from me?" Her eyes burned with unshed tears. She whispered, "Because I don't belong in your world." But he shook his head. "You belong where kindness lives. And that's the only world I want." Still, Amina couldn't believe. Life had taught her that fairy tales weren't real. Rich men didn't choose poor girls. CEOs didn't fall in love with cleaners. She feared heartbreak, humiliation, disappointment. And yet, his persistence, his gentle care, his refusal to let her disappear, slowly broke the walls around her heart. Weeks turned into months. Their bond deepened into love. He revealed his truth, not with arrogance, but with humility. He showed her that wealth hadn't shielded him from loneliness, that titles hadn't given him peace. And she showed him that love was not measured by bank accounts, but by sacrifice, loyalty, and faith. The world judged, people whispered, but Zayn stood firm, holding her hand even when others questioned. He helped her brother finish school, encouraged her to revive her dream of architecture, and built a life where her dignity was never compromised. She, in return, gave him something money could never buy, genuine love. Their story became one of second chances, of two wounded hearts daring to believe in each other. Amina learned that sometimes, when life seems the hardest, it's only preparing you for the miracle waiting ahead. Sparkles, if this story touched your heart, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment with your feelings, and subscribe to Royal Stories so more people can experience these emotional journeys. Share it with someone who needs to be reminded that love can bloom in the most unexpected places. Sparkles. Speech balloon special request. Comment below, do you believe that true love can cross the boundaries of wealth and status? Your thoughts may inspire someone today.